Hello and welcome to the Car Care Shop. In the hour we are filming during working hours. Don't do this when you camp or off-road. Here's what happened with this GX. This seat is supposed to, in a good world, do this. You fold it down, then it comes up, and then you lock it, and if you want to unlock it, you close it, and then you put this up. Well, what this seat was doing is, you fold it down, it just stays right here. You can't lift it up. Here's what we found out, and here's why it happened, and this is what you want to avoid doing, folks. See, I didn't slam it hard enough. There you go. You have to do this kind of in a swift motion for it to work. If you look all the way down here, you see this big bracket? I hope we're gonna try to get it, because they will try to get you a really good shot, because it's a tight spot. There we go. Do you see this cable? This cable comes from the latch. When you fold the seat back, that cable actually pulls on this little arm and holds it. Now this is under tension, it's holding it. When you close it and fold the back up, this will release, and this big spring right here will actually go and make this go over this. And here's the other cable that actually releases the latches. Here's what was going on with this car. This entire bracket was bent in. So this bracket, this kind of arm right here was getting stuck on the frame of the seat, and it won't release. It won't go back to its original position. Now you might be wondering, how does a tiny little bracket inside the seat get bent this much where it's completely shifted out of position, and now you can't release? When you try to release it, it'll just get stuck. How? Well, let me tell you exactly how. And credit to Jose on this one, because he actually goes camping. I don't. You have stuff on your roof. You're trying to tie up stuff. You're gonna stand here. But if you're shorter, like me, Jose is a little bit taller than me, but still, we're no 6 and 7 footers. You're gonna have a tendency of going here and eventually stand here to support yourself. We all do it. You're not supposed to stand in your seat. That's gonna happen. Well, guess where you're standing when you stand right here on the edge of your seat, right on this frame, which is, this bracket is welded right to it. So when this frame bends down, the bracket will twist, and it'll do that. Folks, I cannot emphasize why it is not a bad idea to stand in your seat, but in camping situations, I get it. You're trying to get on top, you're trying to access something, you can't reach it, you're gonna have a tendency of standing here, and if you just put enough pressure here, over time, it's gonna bend it, eventually things will stop working. So right after this video, we're actually gonna go look at Jose's car, which has the exact same problem. So in case you're not familiar with Toyota seats and how they fold and how they work, you notice there's 2 cables, actually pretty simple, but it takes you a minute to kind of figure out, okay, what's going on here. 2 cables. This one goes to the latch of the backrest. When you pull the handle, it actually pulls this cable and releases the lock of the back, and then you fold the back down. The second cable, as you fold the back down, all the way down, there's a little arm here, this arm right here, mechanically gets pushed and pulls the second cable. The second cable goes to that mechanism, which activates another cable, this cable right here at the bottom, which goes in, splits into 2, and pulls these 2 latches. And that's what releases the seat up. And then to hold it up, it's just a little shock on this GX 470. A little shock, you push it, and then you can close it. So right now, both cables are no tension. You pull this, you can see it even here. Watch this cable. Like if you come here, you see this cable right here? I'm gonna pull the handle. See how that cable got pulled? This one? It got pulled. As I lower it down, the other cable is also getting pulled. Yeah, I don't know if you can see it. Look at this cable. You're gonna see it at some point. It's gonna get pulled. It got pulled, and when it got pulled, it released the latches down here, and then the seat can come up and fold. Something about seat repairs, folks. They are extremely difficult. If you have a car that has folding seats or whatnot to repair, take it to a dealership. Look, dealerships have their moments, and some of them are really not good. They're just flat out not trying to help you. But the ones that do, this is extremely frustrating. We were here for 2-3 hours trying to reinvent the wheel, figuring out how does this even work, so we understand how we're going to fix it. I mean, initially I thought, okay, because this cable was all getting bunched up here, I thought, okay, maybe we have a stretched cable. Well, I went to the other side, took the other side apart, which works. Swapped the cable here. Same thing. What's going on here? Then I compared the mechanism side to side. Then I was seeing that this one arm was not returning. Well, why is it not returning? Is the spring weak? Is there something broken? Start looking back, forth, until we pushed that arm, and I see the rub marks on the frame, inner frame of the seat. I was like, that's why it's not returning, because it's catching on that, and it's not letting it return all the way, so it would be reset and ready for the next time. Handle these seats with care, folks. There isn't much to them, but they're extremely delicate, and there is, even though there's only 2 cables and it's pretty simple, access is a problem with these seats. I mean, how do you exactly access everything? And in case you have one of these and you got stuck, you want the seat up on an emergency, if you come on the latches, you see these little arms? If you're able somehow to push the seat down and get into, because this will be up, you have to go through here. Go to this arm and pull it down. This will actually release the latch. And the same thing on this one. You see those 2 cables? Same thing on the other side. You push this down, it will release them. In case of an emergency, until you figure it out, you can actually access them. It's not meant for like that from the factory, but this is the side tip. Folks, we still have quite a bit to go on this seat. By the way, this is the same car that we did the dash on. We're not done with it. We still got a few things. Customer actually decided to add something. You notice the thing that was on the windshield. I'll leave that video right here in case you have not seen that one. The thing on the windshield is gone, and that's because he actually opted out for a Grom. So in case you guys are not familiar, I am so impressed by Grom. They're not sponsored or anything. We don't do that here on the channel. Very impressed with them in my LS430. We installed a few family cars here. I became a dealer because I really like the fact that you keep your OEM radio and you have all the functionalities, and we're not chopping wires and cutting wires and doing that. No, it's all plug and play. I like plug and play stuff, so we are a Grom dealer. If you all are interested in our area, we do install that now. But the other cool thing is we added a backup camera. Don't look at the mess. We're working on the seat. We added a backup camera to this car. There's an 03, doesn't have a backup camera. Here is, I like how it installed. We ran the wire inside. The other thing is we spend a ridiculous amount of time, but we got the wire to go through here. So there is actually no wiring outside. Fortunately, the only thing that happened when we pulled this handle, there was no way around it. It broke. There's a little tab here that broke. Trying to push on it so it would release, it broke. I'm surprised, Lexus. Usually stuff like this costs a small fortune. I mean, a ridiculous fortune. $44. I'm impressed. That sounds like a very un-Lexus-like price for stuff like this, proprietary stuff. But we got it. And in case you're wondering, we do not work on Nissan in the shop. We only work on Toyota and Lexus. This is a press car, which jokingly we have hooked it up to a 110 to see how many 0.3 miles we can get in 10 hours. Charging an electric car at 110 is a bad idea. We were just, for testing purposes, we gotta do it. Folks, be gentle with them seats. You go camping, don't step on the seat. This is a bad idea, because this is what actually stopped this seat. And some of these seat repairs, they can be inexpensive. Some of them, they shoot up because the time involved in figuring out what's going on. Folks, I hope this video was helpful and informative. I hope you learned something new. If you like it, consider giving it a thumbs up. If you're not a subscriber, consider subscribing to the channel. Check out some other videos. Until the next video, folks, May the Lord bless you and keep you, and you have yourself a wonderful day.